Hello, how are you guys doing? Just gonna wait a bit till we have some people coming in, and then we are gonna start our live stream. Hey Michael, hi. How's it going, man? Good to see you here. I hope you're good. How was your day so far? Did you have a productive day? We're just gonna wait a couple of minutes for some people to gather. If not, we are just gonna start with our live stream. That's cool. Yeah, I know. You need to find the right person so that most of your responsibility can be taken care of. Hey, Joanna, hi. Good to have you here. How's it going? We're just going to wait a couple more minutes, and then we are going to kick this off. I am also, in the meanwhile, gonna tag a few people here. Let's see. Just a second. As we speak. Matt. Invite Munir. Gonna invite You're welcome, Joanna. Anyways, let's get started. I would say so today's topic is storytelling. Why story? Guys, guys and girls now, we have been born and brought up by stories, by listening to stories. You still remember the stories that your parents or your grandparents told you when you were a little child. These stories stick. When they stick, they are deeply rooted into your subconscious. You somehow remember them even now. If not completely, you do remember bits and pieces of this story. So this is what a good marketer does. We want to capture, or we want to utilize this skill. First of all, we want to develop the skill, and then we want to utilize it in the best possible way. So I don't know if you guys know my story, but just to give you a preview about who I am. So I come originally from India. In 2008, I started working in a typical IT job, which was really sucking the blood out of me. I used to work 15, 16 hours a day on a regular basis, including weekends. I literally had no personal time. I've had no family time. My girlfriend at that time, it was complete mess. Later my girlfriend went, or she came to Germany that time. So we had a long distance relationship. Or rather, my professional life was not good. Personal life suffered as well because of this long distance and the time difference. And then I said, okay, how can I get out of this situation? So I, being the stupid little guy that I was that time, I said, I want to make some quick money. Unfortunately, I landed up in the world of gambling. Within no time, within a period of 6 months, I would say, I lost all my savings. I had to borrow a bunch of money from my parents, from my friends. And I still remember my mom crying that day when I told her that this is what I have landed myself into. Not a good situation. But then somehow I realized that, okay, I still had that presence of mind to realize that, okay, I'm again responsible to get myself out of this situation. So I took a step back. I realized that being in a job in India is not an option for me. So what were my options? What is it that I like? What is it I don't like? So I said, if I want to have a job, I would prefer to have it in preferably Europe or America. And the only way to go to these countries was to do masters. So I said, okay, for what kind of masters do I want to do? And then I realized, okay, business is something that I always was curious to know about. And therefore I said, okay, I want to learn MBA. I came to Germany firstly because the MBA was cheap. That was my first criteria because I didn't have any money. So before that, I took my last gamble, so to say, and I took an education loan, and I came to Germany. I came to Germany. I did my MBA. As I said, it was cheaper than in US, and Germany has a lot of prospect. Everyone is going to US, and I didn't particularly was attracted towards US because German had good cars, good companies, and they always need more people who are qualified. So I said, okay, I'll go to Germany. The time in Germany was not pretty easy, I would say, because I didn't know any language. I had to learn the language, although luckily my course was in English, so that helped. But when I went outside my classroom, there were people only speaking German, other than my classmates, of course. And I realized that I needed to learn German, but that was not possible because our course was super intensive, and I had to struggle with the language. Um, but I said, okay, I will learn it, learn it, learn it. I had to procrastinate. I procrastinated a bit. I learned a bit, but it was not good enough to live in the outside world. Um, but still, I knew that my first preference was to create I finished my education, and therefore I finished my MBA. I got good notes, and then I started looking for a job. Now, this not knowing German haunted me because of this, because I had a lot of interviews, but they needed someone who spoke a little German. Another challenge. I couldn't find a job because of this for around 8 months, 9 months, and being on a loan was not a good situation again. So I had to figure out how is it that I can learn German. So I luckily found a cheap online course. And I basically self-taught myself. I just learned everything by myself. 3 months, I was just in my computer learning German intensively. Then I was hired by Daimler, which was like, I mean, first of all, naturally, I had a job interview. Daimler or Mercedes-Benz, as you know, the car company. Very cool company. I got hired there. I did pretty well. In 2 years, I was able to pay off all my debt. And then I said, okay, now it's the time for a clean slate. I had to survive there, but seriously, I realized during my job time there as well that I'm not a person who is gonna be satisfied with a desk job. So I just said, you know what, let me figure out what do I want to do for myself now that I don't have any obligation of paying anyone or sending money to my parents or the education loan or whatever. And then I was one fine day just sitting on my sofa where I came across a course, and the name of the guy was Timothy Mark. And I said, okay, this online marketing thing looks pretty cool. So maybe I should figure out a way to see if this is something that I want to do. And then I applied for a course. He was my first mentor. He basically taught us all the business building skills, the basics basically of how to get started with online marketing. Just the basics, though, I would say. There's a lot more to business, which you have to learn by yourself, which everyone does sooner or later. And that's how I got started in my business. I decided that I wanted to do videos because I was always attracted towards cartoons right from my childhood. And then I said, okay, I want to see if there is an industry for videos, and therefore I started searching ways if there is really some good opportunity here. And I said videos was booming, and I said, okay, I want to do this. And then started the entire process where I actually worked the way out. Worked my way into the industry, the online industry as we call it. And here I am, 3 years down the line, a little more than 3 years. I would say I'm doing pretty well. I have a team of around 15 people who work with me, some freelancers, some full-time employees. So I think I'm in a good situation or a good place. Really appreciate for what life has taught me. And this is my story. So now, what is your story? This is my question to you guys. Do you have a story? You, of course, have a story. Now, why did I tell you my story? There's a reason. When you tell a story, you relate to people. When you relate to people, they trust you. When they trust you, they buy from you. And this doesn't happen immediately. No. You have to show up, you have to be consistent. You have to tell them what is it that you have gone through, what are the lessons that you have learned in your life. This is very crucial, guys. So my challenge to you guys is write down or make a video of yourself and tell us what your story is. You can share it here in your digital classroom, as we call it, which is the group. You should share it on your Facebook, on your LinkedIn, on your Instagram, whatever social media you prefer. Just start putting out your story. Let people see, let people feel you, let people experience you. Let them see who is this person behind the keyboard. And it's not, don't expect that, okay, you are putting your story once and that's it, you are done. No, 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 no. This is just one aspect of business or marketing, as we call it. Try to put out your story, try to pick up various segments in your life, current life that's happening, past life, and somehow bring it together and tell the audience some of the life lessons that you have learned. It helps a lot. And this exercise is going to lead you towards the offer creation that we are going to talk about in a week's time, more or less. So that is first challenge that I would like to give you. The second thing, after you have figured out your story, this is what I want you to do. Figure out some of the podcasts, because podcasts are pretty huge. Figure out some podcasts that you can apply to and tell your story. But before you do that, just make sure that you have your story in place. Practice it, repeat it. I mean, sure, you can start applying, because when you make an application to a podcast, you at least have a month to prepare. So you can start that simultaneously as well. Our goal is to be in front of as many people as possible. Experience them, let them experience you. This is where the marketing aspect starts. This is where people start paying attention to you. People start experiencing you. Does that make sense? Type in the comments yes, no, or whatever. If you think it's bullshit, just write that. Doesn't matter. I'm somehow not seeing the comments here. But I hope you are seeing where I'm taking all this conversation towards. So there is the main story that you have. And then you also need to have a couple of other stories that bring in the entrepreneurial spirit or your expertise about how you ended up in the world of business. Another story that has happened to me is when I started working in Daimler, first 2 years were amazing, but then I got a new boss, and he started bullying me for whatever reason. I have no freaking clue. That was the time that I really got this kick, and I said, I don't want to be here anymore. And therefore, I actively pursued this way of entrepreneurship. And the lessons, I would say that I can take that in a negative way and say, oh, I got bullied and what the hell happened and why did this happen to me? Or I can look in the positive aspect and say, that is one of the best things that happened to me, because that kind of actively pushed me to make this huge leap or take this huge leap and learn about business. And I knew right from the very beginning that once I start doing business, I don't want to be the person who was like my boss. The people who I work with, my clients, my team members, the company culture, that is going to be of the most, or that's going to be the most important aspect of my business or the way I run business. This is another side story that I have. So figure out some of these side stories for yourself. Now, this is my story. Your story can be completely different. You don't have to invent a story. I mean, your story can be completely positive. I mean, most of the times people are in a bad place and they figure out a good way to get things handled for them. But that doesn't have to be you. It's fine. Your story can be really good and you can be honest and express everything positively and bring or showcase a business lesson. How does that sound? Does it make sense, guys? I hope it does. I'm somehow not seeing the comments here. Okay, cool. So, as I said, here's your challenge number 1 in today's session. Put in the comments what your, or write in the comments what your story is. And maybe a side tangent or another side story or two, however it is that you prefer. And then also make sure that after that is done, go and apply to some podcasts that you listen or you want to be a part of. They do not have to be big podcasts. No, they can be really small podcasts. Ideally, I would prefer that they are small podcasts because these guys are looking for guests. And if you have an amazing story, which I'm pretty sure you guys have, your game. They take you, just share their story, share your story, rock the podcast. And that can be a foundation for getting into the more famous podcasts or people or the podcast which has a huge reach, so to say. How does that sound? Okay, not so good. Amazing, awesome, thumbs up. Show me some love, man. Show me some love. Okay. Yeah, that's about storytelling. And do make sure to also put out these stories on your other social media channels. These can be, as I said, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. You can make a video. You can make a post if you're not comfortable with video. Whatever you prefer, it's fine. Okay? What else do I have here? Oh, one very important tip, very important tip. When you apply for a podcast, guys and girls, don't be pushy. Lead with value. When you apply for a podcast, first tell them, I mean, of course, you need to do your research, say that, hey, John, I had a look or I listened to your podcast episode 122, name of the episode with Sheila, for example. I liked the way this podcast was put. Some of the lessons that I learned were ABC. Hi, I am Michael, for example. Hi, I'm Michael. I am listening to your podcast for last 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, and I'm a huge fan of the way you are providing value to your audience. I am having ABCD business, and I was wondering if there is a possibility that I can be featured on your podcast. This is just a start, and then you have to show them or tell them what is it that you bring to the table. So you can say that, I mean, after this, you can say, I have a reach of, so from my example, this is what I did. I said I have a reach, or I have 10,000 followers on LinkedIn. I have 11,000 followers on Twitter, and I have some 3,000 odd friends on Facebook. And I will make sure to post this podcast if you feature me over there and actively promote it, so that it's a win-win situation for both of us. Some of the topics that I am thinking about are ABC. Just give them 3 options, for example. How does that sound? I would really appreciate a reply from your side. That's it. Be very polite. Lead by value. No one owes you anything. Please remember this. In business, if you want to win, you have to give 10x value than what you asked for. And if there is something that you want to give to the audience, mention that as well. I have a free ebook, or I have a free video that is a paid video that I submit to, or that explains a particular point, and I would like your audience to have this video for free. They will love you. Who doesn't? Because that's going to help them grow, that's going to help them achieve their goal, and if you're that person, they'll be happy to have you. Does that make sense, guys? I don't know, Hansa. I'm just seeing a few comments, few likes, but I'm glad that you guys are getting some value. Now I'm seeing a few posts, some few comments here. And one more thing that I want to give you is this very cool app. Posting it in the comment section. Called Hemingway app. I've just posted it in the comments, guys. Just check it. This app is, I think it's an amazing app. When you make 2 very complex sentences, it kind of tells you that this is a very complex sentence. You have to make your sentences short and sweet, to the point. That's it. This app is an amazing tool for you to get an understanding if you are clearly transmitting your message out. So please use this app. Whatever post you make, if you plan to make a video, if you plan to make a script for the video, use this app. This can be used as a good barometer, if you will. Sounds good? Let me see, what else do I have for you? That's it, guys. That's the topic. That's the topic of storytelling for you. Just go out, have fun. Fun putting yourself out there so that the world sees you, the world experiences you. Then only the world will buy from you. It's not difficult, it's just some work that you have to put, which will pay you dividends for whatever time you decide to be in the same business or even different business, because once someone trusts you, they trust you, they're hooked. This is what we are after. So have you, or will you take up the challenge to create a story for yourself? Yes, no, I don't know, maybe. Don't be the maybe guys and girls. It's either a yes or either a no. This state of always being in the middle, maybe, is the most horrible thing that you can do to yourself, because that shows up, and that kind of your customers or the people who you interact with feel it as well. So you have to make sure to just be very confident. If a particular thing is for you, it's for you. If it's not for you, it's not for you. There is no maybe. The more clear you are in your head, the more clear you will be outside, to the outside world. All right, this went a little ahead of time, but I hope you got the assignment for the day. I am excited to see your stories. Just pop them in the comments whenever you get some time, and let's get rocking and rolling. I might not be doing the live session tomorrow, but I might as well do it, because I'm traveling tomorrow, so might be a little difficult. But if I get some time on the airport, I will make sure to just drop in and say hi, hello, give some small value bomb for you guys. Okay guys, enjoy doing your assignment. Take care. Good night here from Belgium. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.